So you've decided to step into the world of fragrance. Welcome to the addiction. But whoa, hold on. Before you start buying every hyped up scent they talk about on the internet, let's talk about some common mistakes that could cost you not only your time and your money, but also could leave you with some nose-cringing regrets. Today we're breaking down 7 common mistakes that beginners make when getting into fragrances. And trust me, I've made a few of these myself. Let's make sure you don't. Let's get into it. So welcome everybody to the show. My name is Fragrant Derek and I will be your host. Like I said, today we're breaking down 7 very common mistakes that a lot of people, not only getting into fragrance, but I think even established frag heads often make these mistakes and they don't even realize they're doing it until it's already too late. So let's get into the first common mistake. Number 1. Blind buying too much. So when I first got into fragrances, I absolutely loved watching content on YouTube and TikTok, learning about fragrances and what new releases were coming out, as well as established fragrances and things that sounded really interesting to me. And of course, I would just trust the people I was watching. So I always would just blind buy fragrances. And when you're buying tons of fragrances as a collector or someone even just getting into the niche, you tend to make this mistake where you buy a lot of fragrances, not really on the knowledge of what they smell like, but often maybe because they're hyped or what you hear the notes and it sounds interesting to you. The problem with that is you're spending a lot of money, sometimes $150, $200, $300, $400 on a fragrance that you're basically rolling the dice with a bottle that you probably won't even be able to return. So you're ending up with a huge mistake because you buy the bottle, you get it, you're excited, you open it, and then you're disappointed. It happens so often with me, and that is why it's so important to try before you buy. And you can definitely do that by visiting decampboutique.com. Number 2. Ignoring skin chemistry. So I've covered this in previous videos, but if you're not aware, fragrances can often smell different on your skin based on a lot of factors such as your skin's pH levels, your hydration, as well as your diet. And then also if you smell a fragrance on someone else, they may be wearing a deodorant or a lotion combined with a fragrance, and a lot of fragrances will often smell different on others than how they may smell on you. Also take into account that certain scent notes work better with certain type of people. But I know for myself, fresh woody fragrances tend to work really well for me, as well as versatile blue fragrances. But notes like oud just don't match my skin chemistry. And for some reason, it's not something that smells particularly good off me. But that's why it's super important to know what works for your skin. Once again, Decamp Boutique. Number 3, overlooking performance factors. So I'm going to say something a little bit controversial. Absolutely, projection, performance, and longevity are very important factors when considering a fragrance. But here's the thing, they don't have to be beast mode all the time, okay? You don't need to wear a strong fragrance on every occasion. I know a lot of people love those marketing terms. Oh, this is super strong, it's super long lasting, that makes it a better fragrance. Not necessarily. There are a lot of different occasions where you're going to be wearing fragrances that you don't necessarily want to be projecting a massive scent bubble across the room. There's often a lot of times, probably more than you realize, where something that's going to sit closer to the skin that might sort of whisper rather than yell is going to be more appropriate for you, especially in the workplace, in places like church where you're surrounded by a lot of people. And nowadays, there's even a lot of places where they just don't allow scent at all, which unfortunately sucks for people like me. But the thing is that you always want to be respectful of others. So you always want to consider, do I want to wear a fragrance in this occasion that's going to fill the room? Or do I want something more subdued? You always want to consider that when buying a fragrance. Number 4, chasing hype without knowing your personal preference. So I think this kind of takes us back to the whole realm of blind buying. It's really important to know what scent profiles work for you. But here's the thing. So once again, knowing the notes that work better on your skin and knowing what style of fragrance is right for you is super important. You always want to know, okay, am I looking for something that's more versatile, more on the blue side of things? Do I want something more artistic? You have to smell these fragrances to know if you even enjoy them. You have to educate yourself. And the only way you can do that is by sampling these scents. You know what I mean? Wear them for a couple days, see how they feel on your skin, see how people react to you on the outside, and then make an informative decision on what style of fragrance you enjoy the most. And then you can start to collect. Then you can find those styles of fragrance. You can start picking up bottles here and there that kind of suits your fragrance wardrobe, and then you will be all set. If you trust just the influencers and you go off the hype, you're going to be sorely disappointed quite often. Number 5, not understanding fragrance concentrations. So I am in a lot of fragrance groups on Facebook, and you have no idea how many times people will post a photo of a fragrance they just bought, and someone will chime in and say, oh, that's an EDT. You should have got the EDP or the parfum. That's trash. Throw that away. Here's the deal. Fragrance concentration rarely means that it's higher quality. There are tons of incredibly high quality EDTs, as well as tons of very high quality parfums and extrait de parfums, etc., okay? Fragrance concentration really just means how is this going to project off your skin? How is it going to perform? And what kind of notes fits this scent profile best, okay? Not every scent is going to work in a parfum. Not every scent is going to work in an EDT, which is often why notes are added or taken away based on its concentration. Because the thing is, depending on the amount of oil in the alcohol is the way it's going to perform and be perceived by your nose. So once again, trying the scents and seeing what is the occasion I'm wearing this for? How do I want this to present to other people? And honestly, is this a scent profile I enjoy? Stop judging fragrances based on their concentration. It does not make you any more bougie to have a parfum over an EDT. Do not look down on people that rock the EDTs, because I'll tell you what, I have a lot of them and they smell amazing. Number 6, storing fragrances incorrectly. I have covered this so much in my videos, but I have to keep reminding people, stop storing your fragrances in your car. Stop storing your fragrances in your bathroom, okay? It's really important to know that for a fragrance, if you're storing it long term, you want to keep it in a cool, dry place. Cool, dry place. Not in a place where there's a lot of moisture, not in a place that's going to be excessively warm. And no, you don't have to necessarily store them in the refrigerator. I hear a lot of people saying that. You just want to keep them in a cool, dry place, somewhere that's not exposed to a ton of sunlight, and your fragrances will last a very long time kept in that safe environment. Now, last but certainly not least, number 7, under-applying or over-applying your fragrances. Now, just like knowing what fragrance notes are going to work on your skin, as well as the concentration of the fragrance, it's super important to know how much should you be applying. And I see this question asked so many times, how many sprays is too many sprays? And I know a few influencers out there that'll tell you 30 sprays. And I know some people out there will tell you, oh, just 1 or 2 is enough. And I know there's a lot of you out there that do this whole thing. Listen, don't do that, okay? That's so stupid. I don't even know why people do that. You're going to walk through the mist and that you're thinking that's going to make you smell good? No, okay? It's crazy. How much fragrance you wear is really based on how strong that fragrance is going to project off of your skin, and then also how long it's going to last. Now, those factors that we've already previously covered all go into how much you're going to feel comfortable spraying, okay? If you're wearing it out in public, once again, around a lot of people, you're going to want to go a little more subdued, maybe 3 or 4 sprays. If you're wearing it where it's kind of out in the open, maybe it's in the high heat or the cold weather, and you want to be able to push that scent off, go heavier on it. If it's something that's a lighter scent, but you want people to perceive it, go heavier on it. If it's something that's a super dense fragrance and it's going to push strong off of you, and you also don't want to go super anosmic to it, go a little lighter. There's always certain occasions based on all these factors you have to take into account. Once again, I'm going to drive it home. decampboutique.com. Get your samples today. You do not want to make these mistakes, okay? Anyway, I hope this helped you guys understand some of the common mistakes that people make, and hopefully you can avoid making these mistakes in the future, whether you're someone new into fragrance or someone that's been around a while but just didn't realize, hey, I'm doing this and I need to stop. Trust me, I have to remind myself of these things all the time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of fragrance content, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Once again, my name's Fragrant Derek, and consider your mind decanted.